Welcome back to the hottest married show in podcast universe. I am Too Much, and I am with my better half, Do. How are you doing?
I'm mad.
Tell them why you mad, son. Tell them why you mad.
So I signed up for a website, ancestry website that shall not be named. It's not ancestry.com, but I signed up for an ancestry site. And the mug sent me a polite little invoice that they renewed me at $299 for the next year. And I was hot. You know what? This is really a lesson to me that I shouldn't, like any subscription I have, I should just go in immediately and cancel the subscription so that after that year, that thing's done. If I really want it, then I'll figure out why it's done when I have no more access to it. And then I'll go in and renew it. That's my new thing. Mm. Anybody who has a subscription to anything, go in there and make sure that mug don't renew if you don't want it to renew. Because you know what? It was $199 last year, which was fine. You know, I was really into ancestry. You know, we were still pandemic-y, and I wanted a new hobby, and $199 was okay. But that $299 felt different. Mm-hmm. They politely hit me with that mug and talking about, oh, we upgraded you to premium. I never asked for nobody's upgrade. I like bottom shelf, except for my alcohol sometimes. But I generally want the basic subscription to most everything.
Well, if basic is $199,
hey,
I don't see too much difference in $299.
Oh my God, that $299 hit differently. But $199, it was like, oh, this is for the year. I'm gonna be on it like, you know, I've been on it doing the free stuff, and you know, you want more access. So then I signed up. And $199 is nothing, you know, over 12 months, it's fine. As soon as that $299 hit, I was like, that is crazy. It's only like $10 extra a month, but it still makes me mad. So yeah, I'm mad about that. There's been a lot of change this week in the house, and I've not been doing well with adapting to that either. So I am a little off my kilter right now.
Discombobulated?
Oh, definitely. I'm like, I feel really flighty. We're looking for a house, and every time I think I'm in love with a house, I'm not. Or, you know, it's a house that it doesn't meet certain, like generally, I don't even know if I want to renovate, if I want move-in ready, or if I want a little in between. We went and saw this one Spanish style house, and it looked like it had a dungeon. I thought I was going to go in and start renovating stuff. It had concrete for the bathrooms and stuff. It's like, okay, never mind.
It was, if I could describe it.
Oh my God.
Like, dungeon is, you can definitely use that as a descriptive word in certain areas. Like it even had like a back bat cave stairs to the.
It did. And to the point where the realtor, I was like looking down the hall, but I wouldn't go down there. And then it had like one of those wall sconces where it's just the light bulb. So it looks like you're really going down into a dungeon. And I said, I don't know what's down there. And he started walking down there. He said, look, I need some room behind me in case I need to run up. I said, hey, I'm going to stay about 4 steps behind you, give you enough room. And he went down there. It wasn't a dungeon. It was another access to the kitchen. Yeah. But it looked crazy. It was like.
It was different. The outside of it is what she fell in love with.
It really was. And truly the potential.
And the size.
Yeah. But, you know, they left pictures of the bathroom out on purpose. Because when we went up in that mug, look, it looked like you would be on the toilet but washing your face in the sink. That's how close the sink was to.
But it was really dingy though. It was like if you wanted to actually redo the bathroom, you would have to like knock the entire bathroom down.
Just get rid of it, like throw it all out. And people were living there with kids, so it's like, how are y'all bathing and living? And it was just
no, I think that showed me that it's just different standards of.
No, I think y'all, yeah, true enough. But I'm telling y'all, like the bathrooms, only one bathroom had a window. The other two, I don't know if that one had a window, but the one that was straight like concrete and the toilet had your face in the sink, that had no light. Like it looked like somebody just stuck that in there. I don't know what, y'all, it was scary. So just never mind. You know, I'm really learning my limits on what I will and will not live in. I'm being really honest with myself. It's stressful because we're trying to stay in a certain school district and the inventory is low. So I'm like pulling hair out almost. Like these locks are, they're holding on for me. This week has been trashy.
But I will say this. This has been the first experience I've ever had in actually searching for a home. The first home we had, kind of just bought it. Like, I think we like saw like another home, and then we saw this one, and it was like, okay, this is what we're getting, and then we just moved forward. And then when we moved to Abu Dhabi, you know, I just kind of just hoped that this was going to be the best that I could do, and you know, she liked it. But this time, like us actually looking, I've never done this before. It's a different experience. And I realized early when we were first looking that I haven't done it so much that when she says, what do you think? What I think is better than whatever I grew up in. And I don't know what she's looking at. So it was like, I don't know what to look for because my eyes have a limited view. So when we're going to house or townhouse or condo, you know, like she's looking for different things that I'm just not aware of. Look at this. Hey.
Thank you. When he barks, you know, you got to acknowledge that he's trying to protect the house. So you at least say thank you.
I don't know about
now. Any bark after that is just ridiculous.
Yeah. So this has been a total experience for me. So I will say that the way that she views homes, it's an emotional roller coaster because we've lived in all of them.
Look, I'm gonna tell y'all, when I saw the first one, I had already started decorating it. I even created a file where I had like the colors, the decor I was having on I had certain chairs and stuff. Look, I was doing the most with the least. And so the first time we looked for a house though, we kind of, like, John was so ridiculous. He came one weekend from Orlando, and I had just moved to Atlanta. And we saw houses all of one day.
You weren't in Atlanta then?
Yeah, I was.
You didn't live in Atlanta then?
Yeah, I did. I didn't come down there, and before I moved down there to work, I did not come down there. I didn't.
No, I know. But so when do you think when did I come down there and you were living? Where were you living for that long? That was a long time then.
I was living with your frat brother.
For 2 months? This was in October when we did that.
Yeah.
You were there that long?
Yeah. I was with my stepbrother for a week, and then I was at your frat brother.
I didn't know you were there.
His frat brother and his wife. They had just married, and I'm so thankful to them that they let me stay in a room. Which was closer for me to commute to my job or whatever.
For sure.
But anyway, so we get there. We went all of one weekend to go see houses. I don't even know if we went multiple days. The realtor understood that John was there just for the weekend. So we were going to see these houses or whatever. We see this townhouse. It's a new build. And John was like, let's get it. And I was like, I don't really know. And he was like, look, when I leave to go back to Orlando, we will have had a house. We're going to choose. This is how John used to do. And me, I was still young, so I was like, okay. So I went and did what, even though I said, I was like, I'm not really seeing, maybe we could just get an apartment or whatever. He was like, no, we ain't giving people money, paying them rent, and we could be having a house. I was like, okay.
So look, I just want y'all to know the reason why I said that, because I had just learned that Black men should own things. So I'm thinking like I'm leading my family into ownership.
Yeah.
So I didn't state this to her, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, I wanted to be on the right side of history on that one.
Yeah. And so we ended up in a place that I didn't really want, but it was a new build. So, it was like, okay, cool. Nobody has been in the bathtub. That's my biggest thing, is somebody having been in the bathtub before me.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, I got a problem. But anyway, so we get this house, and so now I understand that I don't need a new build. I'm on this whole thing where I love watching home improvement shows. So I don't need a new build. But it's that balance between location, resale value, enough projects to make me feel like I can personalize, but not so much that I will like regret living there until everything is done. So it's a battle.
And just to listen, like there's so many layers or levels of bing to this. Like in my head, I had no idea like how intricate house hunting was. And it's just giving me a different way to look at things because I typically in my past have just bought things like really quick, impulse, and I just lived with my decisions. And it's like it's kind of cool going through this process, but watching her go up and down from falling in love with him is like, why does she do this to herself? So it's been an interesting part of this, like interesting journey. Searching for a home, but it's been fun because you get to see how different people, what people value in their homes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that's into that. Just letting y'all know. Yeah.
Yeah. So anything in particular you care to discuss this wonderful morning?
You know what? I meant to pull this up. So I was looking at this post where somebody said something about we don't really know the traditions of, and when I say we, I'm speaking of people who were from the Black, diaspora, who came from Africa, you know what I'm saying? African diaspora, that's what I meant to say. But anyway, those who originated on the continent somewhere, their family did, and we're not really certain as to the practices that were specific to the area we were in. But it's kind of like they were asking we had a discussion about how everything isn't black or white, girl, boy, one or two. We're not, And so are we trying to make ourselves fit into this idea that a patriarchal society is either the best way or even the original way?
What do you mean? What is that? So what is, if you break that down?
When you talk about, patriarchal society where men are the ones in power and
is that the society we live in?
I kind of feel like there are a lot of people who are trying to break free from that, but I'm saying traditionally.
Yeah, so traditionally.
Just our mind frame of, the man is the head of the household, excuse me. And then
the breadwinner.
Yes, and then the woman is the home manager. I'll say that. And then it kind of moved out of the way when, they had the, no man in house rule or whatever, and women started to, take a hold of their own careers. And
what's the no man in the house rule?
Back when there was a big push for, families were not able to really afford housing and all of the inflation and things of that nature. And so they started giving that whole Section 8 thing where you could live in certain houses, but you couldn't have a man in the house. And if you had a man in the house, then that meant that, you had to go back and reconsider income and eligibility, and you're risking housing for your family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not acting like I know the exact definition of everything, but I'm just saying this is my understanding. And so
that's about what I figured.
Okay. So there's been a lot that has uprooted the whole idea of Black people being able to get that whole patriarchal man head of house and feel okay with it kind of thing for a while. You had the independent woman, all the songs, and then it was the strong Black woman, and then it was, I don't need no man, and at which I don't believe that women need men. I do think that we both complement one another, or partners complement one another. I think it's always better when you have somebody to go through the fire with.
For sure.
But at the same time, it's like, when I think about the women and the men in my family, and even women and men I've met, I just kind of wonder about the roles we take on. Like, is it bad? Like, can we look at it as not kind of abandoning the patriarchal idea and not necessarily picking up the matriarchal idea that women should run things, but more so as a collaboration? Because I feel like once we start defining roles and stuff, we kind of get lost. Like, I think that, I don't know, I'm concerned about us being able to, the idea of being equal. I can't remember this woman's name. She's in Quantico. She's the actress in Quantico. I think she was Miss India, something like that. And she was on there and she was saying to this guy, she was arguing, she said, women did not say that we wanted to be physically equal to you. We are saying intellectually we want to be on the same level. Like, we're capable of sharing those tasks with you, whether it's in power, whether it's in decision making, whether it's in managing the home. And I believe that men have the capability of being equal to. There are men who run their households. There are single fathers who make it work. And I just feel like we all have the capability of being balanced partners in the house, and not necessarily this is the head of the household, so I'm the one who runs stuff and you're the one who, because I feel like, can we abandon the idea of being a man being the head or a woman being the head and we just be partners? But I feel like when you grow up and that was what your grandmother and your grandfather had, and whether your parents were able to carry it on or it ended up being a single parent household, we are sticking so tight to these ideas of if it's a real man or if it's a real woman and what they're capable of and what they should be. And I feel like that's where the problems usually come in.
No, I think that the message is correct, but the way that it's diluted, you can get multiple messages from it. I believe that men and women can definitely complement each other. And I think that the distraction of history that's shown that men have constantly done this, and the narration of women is like, you got to look here for what parts of the world that actually had women leading. It was on purpose, of course. But I think now I was thinking about, like, just in our household.
Yeah.
Like, there are decisions that I think we make because of our gender or what we think, like, okay, I think this is what we're supposed to do.
Our gender roles.
Yeah, gender roles. But it doesn't mean that the other person can't make that decision, or the conversation between the two can come to a better decision. It doesn't have to look a specific way, like, since I'm the man, typically men respond this way or whatnot. It's like, how can we get the best decision for the both, what the family benefits the most out of it?
Yeah, and I think that I might just be assuming, because I don't ask specifically of my friends who are married how they see it, but yeah, I guess that's my thing, is I feel like even when we were looking for a house, it's weird that was an example. When we were looking for a house, I've lived in a house before. Like, I remember my mom talking about, I remember my dad and what he used to have to do to take care of the house. I remember all that stuff. But when we went looking for a house, you were the deciding factor. You decided, and both of our money was going into it. Mm-hmm. But when you said, this is what we're going to get, this is what we're going to do, I was like, all right. And I grew out of that a little bit, more so now. But I guess I'm wondering, in our generation and the ones coming out, really, I almost don't worry about them as much. But I'm curious as to the people who might be listening, or even our friends, like, are those roles still going? Like, is it like the man is making the decisions and the woman is kind of like serving it? I used to say, you make the decision, but I'm your counsel.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't understand that then. I mean, I definitely understand it now. But look, I'll tell you this. even the way that we're going about the house, we don't know this is the best way.
Yeah.
Another 20 years from now, we'll be like, which one was the most effective way? Like, we'll be able to look back. But this, like I said, it was you giving me a different view. So hopefully the generation below us and below them are definitely working more of as a tandem.
Yeah.
As a cooperative tandem.
I don't know if tandem is it. But
the reason why I said that, because it doesn't have to be like, I don't know. Yeah.
It's okay. I get it. Because I don't necessarily know. I can't even argue it. But I agree. I think that now more people are working cooperatively, and it's not really like everybody's filling in the gaps as needed. I'm thinking that that's what's happening. I'm just thinking about when we started, I thought I was really supposed to like bring this man his plate. My mom didn't even do that. Well, my mom did do that for my stepdad, but I used to bring him his plate. And I was really concerned about whether or not the food tasted good. So I would like watch him to see if he like looked to see what his face would look like as to whether or not he liked it or not. Now it's just like, if he like it, that's cool. I like it, and I'm gonna just move on, or I'm gonna put some seasoning on it. So,
but look, just since you brought that up, I just want you guys to know, if she had found a man that wanted what she was starting out to do, she wouldn't have lasted in that.
Oh yeah, it would have been a nightmare. But it was just me going in not really knowing what I was supposed to be doing.
I know, but like, do you remember maybe a year or two before that, my granny told you don't do
something you weren't gonna continue. Yeah.
And even like, to me, I just thought you were just over the top. Like, I guess you know what it was? It was like me buying you expensive things that you didn't want. I was like, to me, I was like, why are you you're not gonna want to do this later.
Yeah.
And I guess because I've never seen a woman actually want to do that later in life that had that same, I was like, nah, we're gonna look. I can get my own plate, and if I can't get up, you can help me out.
Yeah. So I get it's well, yeah. So that's been my thing I've been thinking about lately is, do there have to be roles? And I think that coming back, when you came back and you weren't working and you were in the house, it was really different that to feel you picking up so many of the tasks that I used to do. And it was like, I don't ever want to go back from this. Like, before, it used to be I would do a lot of the things and never even say like I need help or anything like that, because I just thought that was what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And so when you came home and you started picking up some of that stuff, it was like, this is a way better. It doesn't make me feel like I'm holding everything. It doesn't feel stressful. And like, looking at it now from your standpoint, does it feel?
To me, I feel, I'm glad you really brought this up, because I didn't think about it until I was like, it makes me feel like I'm more qualified to be a father and a husband in the household, because before I was just fulfilling these specific areas, like you were talking about these roles. And then when I look back, I realized that the roles were definitely uneven. Your role was a lot larger than mine. And since I've been back and trying to play, I feel like I'm more present where people know I'm here. And I'm not just here like working to make, you know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, I feel like when they look back, they're going to be like, so who's like, what roles did your parents play? They're like, it started out like this, but they ended up just finding what like the strong suits for them, and then that's how they played.
I mean, even in like one of my experiments was when we started enrolling the kids, because my name was on everything because John hadn't come back yet, and so a lot of the stuff, like, in order to prove our residency and stuff, it had to be signed through me. And so when we were enrolling the kids, I was like, hey, can you look at what we need to do to enroll the kids, to kind of put him in a position to start like taking ownership of that. And so he was sending me the paperwork that I would have to sign or fill out. So when I'm filling it out, I'm making him the primary contact for phone, email, everything, right? Because they're automatically, usually I'm the one that they contact first or only. And, having to deal with going up there to the school, setting conferences, making sure that, somebody can attend a certain type of meeting, like when we were having issues with Day and bullying and stuff. And but you were there. I was just setting everything up. And so now everything, like when they miss school, John handles the attendance. When they were talking about classes and stuff, John was setting up all of the appointments and talking to the counselors and side conversations about after school activities and what needs to be taken care of. And it was really, really different to not be in the direct loop.
And I'll say this too, being that you said that, I was wondering, did it help? Like, cause like when you're in the habit of doing it, you don't turn it off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the first time I'm actually hearing cause I know at one point, you were still like into the move, to the rhythm, and then it was just like, so I was wondering, like, did you feel the difference in like me participating more?
Yeah, because I feel like with me, and this is probably really, it wasn't about being matriarchal or patriarchal. It was really just about balancing roles or responsibilities.
Yeah.
And so I definitely felt the difference because I was the type of person where it was like if my plate is full and there were more things, and I was piling on top. Like it was pouring over the sides of the plate or it was piling on top of the plate. I didn't really delegate anything to anybody because I didn't trust that it would be completed the way I wanted to. It wouldn't have. And if I asked questions, nobody would be able to tell me the detail that I wanted. And the more I backed off and you started picking up, like, I feel comfortable with what you tell me is going on, and I still feel in the loop, but I feel like that's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, the kids getting to school, or Dallas was trying out for swim and you were like doing all the communication with the coach and stuff like that, like it feels so much better. And it still feels like my plate is full, but my plate is like
manageable,
the full that it should be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's manageable. It makes sense. Like instead of you having a little tea saucer from me, because there were a lot of things that I was like, he don't do this, so I'm not even gonna ask him to do that. Now I'd be like, hey, so.
Well, so that's another thing. Like I would say this. I believe that men will complain, but if men knew that there were more things that they could do, they would do it. I don't think men avoid it. They was like, oh, I don't want to hear her mouth, but they don't want you to be complaining about something that they can do.
Yeah.
So I think that being that the women have always had that role, maybe they don't know how to communicate with men and say, hey, I need you to do this from now on.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like, I have a friend and she was talking about how she was overwhelmed, and I was like, you need to take a moment to yourself. And she was like, yeah, but I have all these things and these are my responsibilities. Like they weren't her husband's. These are my responsibilities. And I don't want to inconvenience him. But at the same time, so in talking to him, I'm like, hey, can you handle this, this, and this so I can do this for her? And he was like, yeah. It's like we don't want to we take these things and they're ours and we don't want to put them on anybody else. But that's what y'all are here for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we have to run the risk of hearing your mouth though, and I'm not saying that was her thought. I'm just saying in my head, I know there were certain things that I'd be like, if I ask him, then I have to hear his mouth.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to.
But I think that's one of those things where since I didn't learn, it's either like, you're going to teach me or we're not going to do it, because I don't have that part of the, I can't see that far.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
But the other hard thing is for a woman like me who has been doing it and I've done it a certain way and it looks a certain way when it's done, it's hard for me to teach you And
no, it ain't about teaching. I'm just saying, just mention something.
no, I know, but I'm saying in the event that I have to teach order to get it a certain way, either I have to be okay with it not being the way I would do it, or I have to be patient enough to teach until you can do it to the level. And then you got to think, you might not even want to do it like that. Like, I don't want to do it like that. So no, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be like this. Not to say you said that, but that's another thought. And so I realized over the last 6 months that it's like, if I want it done and I don't want to do it, then whoever do it, it's going to be great. So when you started picking up stuff, you were doing a great job. It wasn't how I would do it, but you were doing a great job. And I was like, that's awesome. Because now guess what? I don't have to do it and it's still clean. I don't have to do it and the food is still cooked. I didn't do it, but there's still groceries in the house. It might not be what I would have bought, but it fits the description and it works. So kind of taking away that idea of having it exactly the way I want. Like, you're not going to carbon copy what I want. But that junk, the way you make the bed, perfectly fine. You know, we did away with them extra pillows I used to try to have on the beds and stuff. Like, who cares? Just pull the sheet and the blanket up, fold it over, and put these pillows at the top. Like, that's all it has to be. And so, you know, relinquishing power.
You know, so I was just thinking, like, there's going to be a lot of, I really believe we're going to create a shift, and it's going to be a lot of problems because of miscommunication. Because I mean, even if men purposely go in like, hey, what can I do? Women have to get into the mindset of relinquishing those responsibilities, knowing that it's going to be handled differently.
Yep.
You know, and that's going to be like, so I need it done like this. Do you want it done? I don't understand. Do you? And you guys got this pride thing. Like, you know what? I'd rather be stressed out for the rest of my life to have it look like this.
Look. And so that is the thing, being able to just hand it over, and whatever happens. If ain't nobody dead, we're alive.
And you know, this is the thing. You may like it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of times when change happens, you're used to a certain way. You can just find the negative in it. Like, it wouldn't have been done. So, yeah. I'll say, though, between you and I didn't know that, though. You know, and I remember telling you, I was like, just because you won't give up some responsibilities because I can't do it the way you want, doesn't make it fair that
I'd be like, he don't do nothing. Well, yeah. But I will say at the same time, there were some things that I was like, but it has to be done this way. And you're like, I'm not doing it. And my thing is if you're not going to complete the entire task, then forget it. I'll do it.
Well, that was before.
I know. And so I'm saying that was the lesson that I'd learned. If I tell you all the steps that need to be done and you be like, I'm not doing the last few because I don't feel like it's necessary, then I'd be like, never mind, I'll just keep it.
And I didn't look at it that way because to me, I felt like, look, I was the fastest way to the goal, taking shortcuts.
What's the deliverable? What's the C? I don't need an A. What's the C? And I'm like, dude, not trying to live at a 70% grade. I'm trying to get up here. But you know, in the end, I'm really, really, I'm glad that there are things that are off my plate. I really am. And I've realized that I feel more comfortable because for my birthday before COVID got me, it didn't get me, it got my whole family. I had no qualms about setting up a 5-day trip down to Orlando to be with my friends. Well, with my friend. And I was like, you know, I didn't worry. I didn't worry about how people were going to eat. I didn't worry about whether or not, you know, I kind of worried about Dave's hair and whether or not, like, I was going to have to worry about that part. But I wasn't worried about, you know, all of the other day by day things that I would have worried about before. Like when it was my 30th and we went to Jamaica. Yeah. Yeah, we went to Jamaica for 5 days and it was amazing. But before we left, I was so stressed. The kids were much, much younger. And when I came back, they had been going to school with this one ponytail with no rubber band on it. Like the rubber band had popped while I was gone, and she was going with all her other ponytails intact, and it was just one big puff in the front. And I don't know why these women who have done Day's hair before, just because they ain't have nothing to do and they asked to do her hair, and none of them put her hair in the ponytail. They had been going to school looking like who did why, and John was just taking her there. And it was like,
and you know what? One of them was like, "We was wondering if everything was all right. We were gonna do it, but we was like, she normally does her hair."
look, help my child.
I know. Like
So-
I didn't even know. Like so, looking back, that's one of those things where I'm like, "Hey, ladies, the wife has gone out of town. If you guys have some free time." But I didn't know to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I should have said ahead of time, hey, so John is going to be alone. Please help him. But, you know, that was the worst part about it. When I came back, I was like, oh, I can go somewhere. The kids won't die.
yeah, well, you know, so that's, you know, well, I never thought they would have died anyway, but I always thought I was capable of taking care of kids because of my father. Mm-hmm. And I know that I was way better than he was. And I'm just saying that the way that you was looking at it, like, oh, he's capable of doing it. Like, I would have never thought that you would marry a man who wasn't capable of doing it.
No, I thought you were. And then I realized when we were working, well, not working, but while we were living, and I was taking on certain tasks, and you weren't. And when you did, you would tell me how you weren't going to do it the way it needed to be done. I was just like, hey, it was lessons being learned real fast. Nah.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
he
were.
He won't kill the kids, but he's definitely not going to take care of my kids the way I need them to be taken care of. So never mind.
So I just didn't know that I was missing lessons. I thought I had them all. So that's why I was giving you a hard time, not because you were wrong, because I wasn't wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'm like, why is she going that way when this way is so it wasn't like I'm trying to fight you. It was like, I can get this done, but it just won't look like that because I know I don't have to take those steps.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but you know,
I'm saying that's what I was thinking though.
The end product though, it would look different.
No, regardless the end product, I'm just saying I didn't think anything was wrong with the way that I grew up. So I was you know, why is she going that way? Like, look at me. You ain't shoot.
Look at this stellar piece of man. Of course I know how to replicate this. No, that's not what I want.
Well, you know, now I'm all about trying to get better. So if you know, look, if I ask you, I know that that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. What's been going on? What's on your mind then? You've gone down my rabbit hole for a second.
I enjoyed that though. I think it'll allow relationships to grow in a different way. Hopefully this podcast is opening some conversations in the household, because I know nobody was telling me that I was supposed to be working on these things. So on my mind, anything, you know, just getting to that point where it all makes sense. And when I say make sense, I mean like where I can get some kind of normalcy back in my life. And when I say normalcy, I mean like, you know, not trying to figure out how to get better on everything and try to figure out, is this wasting my time?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to you getting there too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I am really looking forward to that. I mean, I'm like trying to get closer to that. Like I realized that I shouldn't be so driven that the people around me is.
Look, running.
Well, I'm trying though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have anybody to shout out. Not today.
No, there's a lot of this that we're gonna cut out, so we got some time.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, so this can be part of it too. Like,
oh, then we come back in and splice something else to it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was doing a lot of flopping words around earlier, and that was bothering me.
Yeah. So maybe we're gonna have to somehow listen to that so that you can.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have no problem with cutting.
No doubt. Well, I do want to give a shout out to Marcus Mannion. He passed away. He passed away, I believe, a few weeks ago from, I think he had a diabetic seizure or a coma. Or he fell into a diabetic coma or something. But that family held down my family in so many different ways. And, I just want y'all to know that his death will not go in vain. Not on my behalf, because that family's a complete blessing in so many different ways. So rest in peace, brother, and know that you're not forgotten.
Boom.